all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I've actually sort of finished something. So I mean, at the minute I'm kind of half excited about working on this thing, but half just wanting to get it done because it's been dragging on for quite a while now, and I do kind of want to get it done. But I remember from my last one, it was kind of weird because it took me a while to kind of to have it finished, because I remember I sort of finished it, I mixed it all, and then I took it to a place to sort of be mastered, which is a kind of music process, just for finishing it off, putting on the finishing touches, and I remember taking it back to that place about 10 times, because I just couldn't sort of settle on it. I just I always wanted to make little tweaks and change it, and
right.
and eventually I just kind of like ran out of money, and I thought, well, it's whatever, I had to settle with what I had, and so for a good few months after, I was just sitting there in front of my speakers, just like sort of replaying the same track, just kind of checking that everything was at the right level. And I was kind of, I was in a bit of a weird state. I just kind of, I just couldn't, it took me a while to relax into it, but then finally I kind of thought, no, it sounds fine, it's done, and then yeah, it was nice. It was a nice big relief, and it was, and I remember when I first, when I sent it off to be pressed, and I remember when the boxes arrived with the CDs inside, and that was a good feeling, once it was all
right.
done. And
well,
then,
I know the musicians are perfectionists, and all the little tweaks that you worried about, we probably wouldn't have even noticed.
Well, yeah. I remember showing it to people and saying to me there was one bit in one song where I thought the hi-hat cymbal was too loud, and I was obsessed, and I thought, and I kept on showing it to people, and they were like, no, it sounds fine, it sounds good, but I was just like, no, it's too loud, I'll have to take it back and get it done again, but now I listen to it and I think it sounds fine, so I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
How many songs do you write before you decide on what you're going to put on an EP?
Well, I'm trying to think. With the last one, I've don't know. There's don't know. Trying to think what I do. Well, I'm normally just kind of writing all the time, and then when it comes to putting together, I just try to find the ones that fit together. So there's normally sort of songs left over which don't fit on that particular album. So in fact, so some of the songs on the new album or the new EP are kind of they were left over from Face Forward. Really. I was originally going to put them on there, but I thought for whatever reason at the time that no, it doesn't really fit. So right. I just kind of left them, and then so it's kind of just whatever seems to fit the mood, and even Face Forward, it's quite broad in some of it. So it's kind of I guess for me, I'm kind of it's a good thing in one way, because I'm a musician who likes lots of styles and I like to try lots of things, but I guess to have a sort of coherent album, it's a bit of a weird. It's a bit of a weird trait of mine, So like, whereas a lot of albums, the band will have a certain sound, and if people buy the album, they know what they're going to get. It's going to be, if it's a rock album, it's going to be solid rock, and it's that. But with me, sometimes it just kind of, I'll have one track which is a pop song, the next one might stray off. So yeah, even on the last one, it was a little bit stretched, the songs, the styles were a little bit broad, but So this time around, that's why I'm doing the split. I'm thinking, okay, just have one rock EP, and I have got a set number of songs. It's going to be 6 songs, and then the album is still changing. I've got a few extra songs I'm not sure whether I'm going to put on or not. So it's kind of I'm probably just going to finish I'm going to finish it all off, and then I'm going to just see. I'm probably just going to try a few playlists in iTunes and just see if they blend together. If not, then I'll just I might have to cut a few songs, but. So yeah, that's a long way.
Well, I recently interviewed a singer-songwriter, and his EP actually didn't stick with one genre. I mean, he had pop, he had hip-hop, he had rock on there. I mean, I was just amazed at all the different sounds he had on one EP, but they were all great. So I think these days that's sort of changed, where you don't have to stick with just rock on one album, or just pop or just hip hop or rap or whatever you're into at that time. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't stress too much about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of what people have sort of said to me before, but but I guess there's certain artists I really love who are quite broad. I mean, like artists like I really love sort of Sting and like, if you listen to a Sting album, he often kind of, he's quite broad. He kind of explores quite a lot. I mean,
Right.
I mean, in recent years, he's gone quite far into, doing all sorts of weird stuff like, what was that album he had of old traditional English music from from a few hundred years ago. He'll go, now that he's got his fan base, he just he does whatever he likes, which is really cool. But I guess for me, I haven't got quite the same fan base as him yet to go as crazy with my styles. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of artists, that I like who do that, and for me, I think when I'm listening, I easily get bored if I put an album on it and it's all quite samey. I'm not a big fan of that. I do like songs to be quite, sort of different,
Right.
In fact, and that's probably why with this rock EP, I've sort of said it's kind of, I'm kind of getting it out of my system, because I guess, even though I love rock and rock's what I got me into it in the first place, I kind of, it's only now and again that I'm in the mood to write a rock song, because I can easily get tired of that sound. So and I think sometimes in rock, the guitars are quite full on, and it doesn't leave much space for any other things to sort of go in there as well. So that's why I'm kind of with this album trying to think more in terms of being a little bit less heavy, but having exploring some different instruments and just And
well, I think it'll be great no matter what you do. So I can't wait to hear some new music from you, and I'll definitely be playing it on my show if you allow me to do that.
Oh, certainly, yeah, thanks.
Have you ever been in a place where all of a sudden you came up with a song in your head, like waking up from sleep or driving in a car?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. My songs, I think it's quite good these days, because I've got, with modern technology, I've got an iPhone, and you can sort of record little things obviously on there. So I mean, so I've been doing a little bit of that. I'll be driving along and I might just sort of be singing something, and then well, not very safe, but I might get my iPhone out and press record and just sing in the car and stuff. But normally I think most of my songs I'm not one to really start with lyrics or anything like that. I think lyrics are always last for me, and I think that's probably the thing that I find harder to do is to write lyrics that are decent. I'm quite fussy about lyrics. I always they're the things that are hardest. But with the music itself, it's normally just because I like sort of just playing different instruments. I normally just sit there playing around, and if you play around enough, you're bound to come across something that sounds quite cool.
Right.
So most of my stuff is not really from dreaming or anything like that. It's just kind of just sitting there, sort of just being a bit of a geek on my guitar, just sitting there playing away for hours, and then normally something you just come across things. And it's the same with the different instruments and what I normally find, I tend to write different songs different types of songs on different instruments, because I guess certain instruments I find the sort of I prefer certain styles on them. Like if I'm going to be playing bass, I guess bass is quite prominent in sort of funky styles. So if I'm playing bass, I don't just sit there doing rock stuff. I'll probably just kind of start playing something funky, because it sounds that's a style of music that has lots of sort of the bass takes on quite a leading role. So I might just sit there doing slap bass, and then so I might come up with a riff that's quite funky, and then I might think, okay,
mm-hmm.
I write a funk song, and whereas on keyboard or piano, it's quite a nice soft sounding instrument. So I'm probably not going to write a rock song on a piano. I'll probably just do something a bit twinkly and a bit pretty, and then and then rock, and then on the guitar, I it's probably I'm more likely to come up with something rocky, because I think
mm-hmm.
all guitarists like to sort of whack their amp up to 10 and then just make a lot of noise, and so So normally the guitar, I normally find rock songs on there, so that's kind of normally the way I write. It's normally instruments first, and then hopefully once I get a few things together, then I'll try and I'm normally kind of humming along when I'm playing, and I might start thinking of tunes as I'm doing it, and then it's a matter of trying to find some words and some lyrics that sort of fit the mood.
Right. I can't imagine myself that would be hard for me to do as far as any type of music, but the lyrics might be a little bit easier for me because I do write poetry every once in a while, and to me they're similar.
Yeah. I guess for me, I mean, I don't know. I think I think when I was young I used to write a lot more lyrics, but I think now I probably need some new experiences to write, to be more fresh, because I guess there's only a certain amount of things you can write about, just in everyday life, and I don't know, I feel I probably need to, I don't know, like probably explore, I don't know, maybe visit some more places, like if I went abroad a bit more, or
mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah. There you go. You have to come to the U.S.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, what's the funniest thing that ever happened to you at a gig?
Funniest thing? Oh, I don't know. Funniest. Funniest. Well, I'm not sure I can think of anything funny, but I've had a few sort of situations where like you have gear that fails and stuff like that. So, I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is which is quite a cool thing. I was playing a gig a few years ago, and I was doing like an acoustic sort of instrumental thing. I was at the time I was really into Extreme. You must have heard of Extreme. They did More Than Words and all that sort of stuff. And they have this song called it's an instrumental guitar thing called Midnight Express, which is kind of like a showpiece guitar thing, which is quite sort of fast and quite impressive. And I was playing it along with a little backing track I made. But I started playing it, but my guitar, it wasn't the battery. I think the wiring inside had broken basically, and so I couldn't get my guitar to work. So rather than just sort of giving up and then just trying doing another song, I thought no, I want to play this. So I kind of just unplugged and basically kind of just came out and sort of stood in the middle of the crowd basically, and just sort of played it in the middle of them instead.
Uh-huh.
So I remember that being quite cool, and then just sort of it's something I haven't really done before. I've seen a lot of other performers do that, sort of come down to the audience, unplugged.
Exactly, yeah. And the fans get a kick out of that too. They like that.
Yeah, no, it was quite cool, and I've often thought, maybe I should do more things like that, because it's a bit more in your face and a bit more real,
mm-hmm.
and it was so that's one thing that comes to mind. Apart from that, funny, I don't know. I'm normally quite serious at gigs. I just want to sort of do a good job, so I'm not really in a humorous mood, I think. So, but yeah.
Well, I interviewed somebody recently that said that some girl came and pinched him on his butt. I was like, oh my gosh, leave it to the teenagers. They'll do anything to get somebody's attention.
Yeah.
If you could do a duet with anyone, alive or dead, who would you choose?
A duet. Oh, right. That's a weird one, because I think I don't know. I've got lots of idols who I would love to sing with, but I don't know. I think with a lot of them, I just kind of would feel embarrassed because they're so much better than me. So I don't know. So I don't know. It's a weird one. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a hard one. Yeah. I mean, I've got. I mean, I can list my favourite singers, and I love I've always loved Michael Jackson and stuff like that. But yet again,
right.
I don't know. Yeah, he would steal the show, so I'd probably just kind of. I could back him up. I'll let him do the main singing. I'll just be in the background and sing along, I guess. So I've always loved his stuff. Stevie Wonder.